music mic that we... Nope. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are all well. We are here for round 3 of the Timpsons Super Sprint Series here at Indianapolis. We have come to the point in the season where we've done 2 rounds, so that means we all have to merge the Pro and the AMs together. So, contrary to the advertised schedule, we now have Pros and AMs, and interestingly enough, I'm just looking at the times, and an AM, who you see in red, is top of the tree, followed by Vincenzo Senatore. Echoey, right, okay. How's that, Christopher? Please let me know. So, we have a little bit of a change in schedule for tonight. We have the Pros going out for the second 8 minutes of qualifying, the AMs going out for the first 8 minutes of qualifying, then we have a 25 minute sprint race. Right, how is that? Is that any better? Otherwise, I'm just going to end it. We have 25 minute sprint race, then we have another 8 minutes of AM qualifying, 8 minutes of Pro qualifying, and then a final 25 minute sprint race. In terms of our championship leads, let's have a quick look and check in on, hello Derek, on our standards. So we have Gunther de Potore, currently top of the tree on 151 points. Sotris Katsougonis in P2, but he's unfortunately not racing tonight. We have Gav Taylor in P3. Anna Forster, unfortunately, is not racing tonight. And Anderson Albuquerque in 5th place. Alan Brown, a.k.a. Fresh Brizzle, is in 6th, with Chris Fielder in 7th. So, still a lot of opportunities for these drivers to catch in on some big points. Our Pros... right, okay, so at least I know what settings I need to change next time. Our Pros, we got Thomas Nopek in P1 with his 100% record. That's got broken, incidentally, in FRL on Thursday night with the late night cup. Vincenzo Senatore in P2, Sky Loverink in 3, Matteo Allegri in P4, unfortunately absent tonight, Alex Zachdel absent tonight, and Dean Power in P6. So, we have a lot to look out for tonight's race. We have Dean Power, who we just mentioned a few moments ago, just sat on the side having a bit of a chill as we come towards the end of qualifying. If you can remind someone to skip it to qualifying, that would be great, because it is now 8 o'clock, and that means it is time for all the fun to begin. Top of the tree in terms of our laps, so Melker Garby has had some interesting excursions in the Honda this season, currently in P1 with 1 minute 55.1. Then we've got Chris Fielder with 55.2. Senatore in 3rd with a 55.2 as well. Sky Loverink with a 35.3. Right, okay. Let's have a look at the standing settings and see what has to change. It's just desktop volume. So saying is fine on the standings, but not when we in this. Right, how does that sound, Chris? Not sure what's gone wrong since Endurance and what's changed. But anyway, so we got Sky Loverink currently in P4, Chris Schneider in P5, Bjorn Klassens second in the AMs in P6, and Domokos Kish 7th, Norscan in 8th. As we get ready to begin qualifying, we've got a couple of drivers who are already trying to lead the chase out at Indy, home obviously of the Indy 500. We've got Anderson Albuquerque, no livery there, Steiner Ulstrander. I thought he was coming out of the pits. Let's have a look, see which driver is out. So it's first 8 minutes for the AMs, and then second 8 minutes for the Pros. Seems to be quite a long pit lane here. Obviously gets a race on the famous oval circuit, where the Indy 500s do their thing. Well, the Dalaras do their thing. I did see someone go out just now, I swear I did. There's Mr. Thompson, Mario Morano in his Mercedes, Ryan Blanchett in the Ferrari. I do like that Ferrari livery. We've got Neil Woodward, I think, is out in front at the moment, so we're going to stay on board with him as he starts to... So, Mr. Gianmarco Silvestri, come on Kish. Someone's just joined the server, hence my lovely lag spike, and that was Federico Strambanella jumping in. Do we have Ryan available? Is he alive?
Yeah, I am. I was waiting for you to say that you joined with.
I didn't hear you rejoin back in, so.
No, I'll be with the whole time. I take my headset when I go for a smoke. I didn't realise the time, so.
Yeah, we are. We are in and ready to go for qualifying. We're currently having a look at Mr. Woodward, followed closely by, it looks to be Chris Sauter, just directly behind it is, as they start to filter across the lap. Have you driven Indy much?
To get my licence, my three stars, yeah. Other than that, not really. Where I moved over from PlayStation 4 not long ago. I didn't really get to do much of driving any of the tracks, so coming over to PC and driving Watkins and tracks like that was sort of like, oh, this is learning it and doing laps.
Yeah, there's a couple of sector end of sector 2 particularly. It's just a bit of a nightmare if you're not used to tracks, as Woody's just coming into it now, just to try and get the positioning of your car, make sure you're predicting the corners, trying to shape your car of what's coming next. As you see Woody just go for a little bit of a slide on the exit. This part is just basically like a massive runway coming down towards the left-hander. It's this sector that you have to really put your car in the right positions to take the corners, because it can just catch you out, and next thing you know you're off into a wall somewhere. So Woody's just getting to the point now where he can put his put the hammer down, back onto the oval, to cross. Well, not onto the oval yet. Somebody else just joined. See, I can't even remember the track in itself. But you get to race on the famous Indy 500 runway. A bit garbled now. Right.
Dad bought it. A little DKNY.
Right, how is that, Derek? As Ryan Blanchett sets the first fastest lap of qualifying with a 36. That's good now. Right, okay. So I've just gradually started to turn things off, and then the sound is starting to work better. Ryan Blanchett originally set the fastest lap of qualifying, and now that's gone to Bjorn Klassen's. I do like that livery with a 135.8. So Chris Fielder with a 36.1, Ryan Blanchett with 36.8, Raphael Scullion with a 37.5 are our early pace setters. I'm expecting low 35s for the AMs, and into the 33s probably for the pros. Is Mr. Nopek in the server chilling out? He is indeed. So we now have 37 drivers who are going to be fighting out. Unfortunately, Raphael has not put his livery on, so we have no idea what he's doing. So, what's your dad bought you? Ryan? Oh, we've lost Ryan. So Bjorn,
that's better.
There we go. It said, what's your dad bought you?
I don't know. I didn't think you'd hear that. It was my dad bought a present for my little one, so
I was just showing me mum it.
Oh, nice. It's my dad's birthday tomorrow, actually. 25th of January. Apparently I've bought him a t-shirt. No Peck is chilling in the pits, that's good news. Right.
I'm just looking through the grid, and one of the run DJC boys are in the race. I didn't even realise he was racing.
Yeah,
Which, if I
Racky.
knew, he would have had a livery that wasn't in game. He's also running a purple instead of blue, so I don't know.
Well, if he's colourblind like me, he probably hasn't. Probably doesn't have an idea. So Racky used to race with us back in the PlayStation days. So it's nice to see him back on the grid. So the AMs currently have 1 minute and 40 left of their qualifying. Ryan Blanchett is currently going 5/10 quicker. That could potentially pop him up into P3. He's 1 minute into his lap. Tice Payne is in P9 with a 1:37.2. So the field is pretty spread at the moment in terms of positioning. So from P1 to P19 it's 4.3 seconds, so Fresh Briz will have to start to be getting a little bit of a wriggle on, and he certainly is. Currently almost 2 seconds up on his time, so I think he had a little bit of an incident last time round. 3.5 seconds up on his time, so definitely something that's going to be quite a big improvement as he comes through the last corner. Currently P19, Alan Brown, aka Fresh Brizzle, goes P5. That's a massive improvement. Ryan Blanchett managed to do a 36.2, so he's in P3. Gunther, our current championship leader, currently 4/10 up on his time. Last lap, his best time so far is a 36.5. So we'll be looking to try and pull close to the low 35s, but he does appear to be in traffic. In car number 420, Darren Mark, that could be you. Anyone who doesn't know Darren, he's one of the PlayStation drivers who always runs car number 420. So Gunther completes his lap with a 36.6, and I think that's proportioned down to the traffic. So all the drivers that hadn't finished their laps before the 8-minute cutoff will have to go into the pits. Alan Brown is currently 8/10 up on his time. Racky, who we mentioned a few moments ago, currently P16 up on his time, goes to P15. Simon Turner, aka the Turninator, starting another lap as well. Bjorn Claessens is currently up on his best time as well. So trying to keep an eye on that as we go through. Neil Woodward just about to cross the line, 8/10 up on his best at the moment through the final corner. The Porsche is not going to be the best on the straights, but through the infield tricky sections he should notice a big improvement. P17 for him. Alan Brown is coming through the final corner as well. P5 to P2. That's a fantastic improvement from Fresh Briz. Bjorn Claessens through the final corner. Currently, well, he's just been demoted as a P2. Is this going to regain in P1? It is indeed. Chris Fielder pops himself into P1 momentarily, but now is back in the pits. Gavin Taylor, currently P10, going through the final corner. The Merck's big angry engine. Is this going to be an improvement for Gavin? P10 to P9. That's a good shout. Then we got Tice Payne in the McLaren. Couple of tenths up on his personal best at the moment. Can he break into the 37s? Currently P13. P11. That's a good improvement from him. And that is the end of our AMs for qualifying. Now the pros have their turn. Let's have a quick recap. So we've got Bjorn Claessens P1, Chris Fielder P2, Brizzle 3, Anderson Albuquerque 4, then Ryan Blanchett, Gunther in 6th, Sven in 7th, Thompson in 8th, Gavin Taylor in 9th, Adam 10th, Tice Payne 11th, Scullion 12th, Sauter 13th, Mario Morano 14th, Racky in 15th, Harry Hottie 16th, then Woodward, Gibbons, Marco in 19th, the Turninator in 20th. That was a quick flash for the AMs there in qualifying, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Just looking at the cars that have done laps, just to see where everyone is. And Damien Damien Wilk
Mm.
is down as a pro driver.
Yes.
And he's on his fourth lap.
Oh.
So he went out in the AMs and he's out in the pros.
But he didn't set a lap, I don't think.
He did set a lap. He set a 1:38.5.
Yeah. Okay.
In the AMs qualifying.
I'm sure the stewards would be looking at that.
I just noticed it, and I was like, I just looked into the Sim drivers, and he's sitting in the pros. So I don't know why he went out during the AMs.
I have no idea, but so I'm sure the stewards will have a good look at that, as Skylar Loverink already goes into the 34.8s and occupies that P1 slot. I'm not sure if he's been a naughty boy or not, or
I'm not. I don't know what he was doing, but yeah, he went out in the AMs, and now he's going again. So I don't know what he's doing. I'm just going to look back at the replay, because I saw the 21 out on track. How early did he went out, like as soon as everyone else was out?
So just having a look at Amir, he was saying he had wheel issues prior to the race, but he looks to be well, I was just saying that and he went a bit wide. He looks to be controlling it for the sector, so with a bit of luck, hopefully Amir will be racing. Being in this situation myself, it is the most demoralising thing in the world when, say, if you manage to qualify P6 and in the AMs, and then all of a sudden you drop down and you're like P30, purely because all the pros have come out and demolished your time. That's an interesting mental adjustment. Chris Schneider was performing well in practice. He's P5, Power in 8th, Goodway in 9th at the moment. So Skylar just completes his lap and he goes even faster for a 34.4. So that's some serious pace coming in. Let's have a look at Mr. Floppy Fox. Hopefully a cat's behaved this week in the Ferrari. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I did hear about his cat knocking over his tea.
Wouldn't it be lovely?
I'm really baffled about Damien Wilkes in the number 21. Don't know what happened, because looking at the replay, he went out with when it was 1 minute 15 into the qualifying of AMS.
Yeah.
And then done 3 laps, completed his 3rd lap, just his 2nd lap just before the pros went out. He reset to pits and then drove back out.
He might have been sent to pits. Who knows? So Vincenzo Senadore goes P4 with his first effort. Nopek is 3/10 off in P2. Garby's P3. Klassen still remains P5 with Demokus Kish in 6th, with Fielder 7th, Brown 8th, Goodway 9th, and Chris Schneider in 10th. Anyone up on their laps at the moment which we should be paying attention to? I tell you who's going to have a big improvement is Mr. Massey, currently P27, flies up to P8 in the Aston Martin, so that's a really good lap from him, into contention just behind his former competitors in the AMs, as he goes straight on and takes some polystyrene with him. Thomas Nopek just coming through the final corner. Not chilling in the pits anymore, but is this going to put him back up into P1? It doesn't, but it brings him a touch closer, just under 0.3 of a second now. Gardby still in the pits. We have Vincenzo Senadori, who's 0.3 up. Fortis Norsgan's a couple of tenths up on his time as well. Damien Wilk, who's been attracting much attention in the Lamborghini, crosses the line into P24. One thing we'll say that those extra laps hasn't really benefited him too much at the moment.
No, definitely not. It's just something that I've never seen anyone do. I mean, he's a pro driver.
Yeah.
I don't know if he joined late or not, but
this is the first time we've managed to split it this season. Damien, I think, raced a lot in the rookies last season, not necessarily in the sprints where we had done this previously. So it's obviously just something a little bit new, which everyone's trying to get back into adjustment. There are many drivers who had this situation last season. Nopek, Senadore, Garby, Kish, Massey, Brown, Goodway, Chris Schneider, Anderson, Albuquerque, Blanchett have all done this previously, so they know what to expect. Whereas I don't think Damien necessarily knew. Skylar Lovering, obviously quite familiar with this track, being from the USA, but seems to be taking that line very tight out of the last corner to make the shortest distance to the start-finish line. Thomas Nopek still hasn't yet improved, and that is the end of qualifying for him. Chris Schneider is a couple of tenths of a second up in the Porsche. Coming through the final corner, is this going to catapult him quite high up the grid? Currently P12, moves him up to P5. That's a fantastic effort. Dean Power. Sorry, that was Bjorn Dale. Dean Power managed to promote himself up quite high. Bjorn Dale in 15th. Anyone else out on their laps at the moment? David Goodway's a tenth of a second down. Senadore's completed his lap. Fortis Norscan, half a second down on his personal best. So I won't see an improvement there. David Goodway going through the final corner in that Aston Martin. Is this going to be an improvement for him in P13? No, it's not. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is all that she wrote for qualifying. In terms of the grid to start the race, we have Loverink in P1, Nopek in 2, Senadore in 3. Then we have Gardby, Chris Schneider, Classens, Norscan, Demokos Kish, Chris Fielder and Dean Power rounds up your top 10. From 11 to 20, if you've got Michael Massey, Alan Brown, David Goodway, Sergio Azario, Anderson Albuquerque, Bjorn Dale, Ryan Blanchett, Steiner, Ostrand in 18th, Chesney Salazar returning back to the championship in 19th, Gunther Am championship leader in 20th, Michael Firth 21st. Then we've got Sven Corving, Thompson, Stranvanella, Damien Wilk, Gav Taylor, Adam Benjamin, Tice Payne, Amir in 29th, Sculian 30th, Sauter 31st, Morano in 32nd, Raki in 33rd, Harry Hottie in 34th, Woodward, Gibbons, Marco and Simon Turner brings up the 38th position, and that is on the that is our grid to start the first race. Oh, those 8 minutes don't seem very long, do they?
No, definitely not. I mean, when I was racing the last season in the joint splits, I found that you had one lap to like get the tyres up, go for a sort of banker lap, and then try your best to go for a full run. Which it can be quite Tetris with trying to get some like room. So like my first race was at Zolder, and I'm pretty sure we had, I think, 25 AMs. So it was quite Tetris of trying to find that area to take the start. And when you're out on track, you can't overtake unless like people are on a slow lap, sort of thing. So there's always going to be a queue at the end of the final corner.
Yeah. Well,
so
given the final corner is basically a full throttle corner, it kind of brings it back into the infield a bit more, which can even be worse because you're potentially not expecting it, especially here. But yeah, it's I like having the pros and AMs together on a sprint race. For the Friday races, for the hours, I honestly do prefer them separated, just because there is such a pace difference between the likes of Loverink, Nopek, Senadore, and the likes of me. And I don't want to be the obstacle at the back of the track.
Yeah, I mean, when it's an hour race, in real life or not, you're still going to have to deal with those cars in front.
Yeah.
which I don't see a big issue about. If you're racing and there's a car that's not faster than you, and they're a couple of seconds off the pace, it's like if we had everyone on the grid and then the last two rows being the Riker,
Mm.
they're still going to be in the AMs or whatever, but they're not as a competitive car,
No.
and it's all a thing of everyone's even in. If you're ahead, you make your move to overtake. If you're behind, you stay in your position and let them past.
Mm.
So it's hard to say without going into too much detail about battling, as I'm currently playing around with the camera buttons as I usually do. It's always interesting with having like a Pro and Am series combined.
Yeah.
And like I said to you at Suzuka, I find it so much more competitive when you're in a Pro and an Am.
Well, yeah, the
Like,
AMs have got someone to aim for. If you're at the front
Yeah.
of the AMs, you've generally got still someone to play with.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be battling amongst the pros. But then the whole argument, should an AM be battling a pro, comes into play. My argument is, yeah, they're on the same track. But I know some people don't believe that it should be the case.
Yeah, I prefer it. I mean, one thing that I like is that you can, like when I was talking about Zolder being my first race.
Yeah.
It was my first race back on PC in a racing league, and when you're at that point of, okay, you've got guys that are like on the verge of being aliens.
Yeah.
In like the VCO, which drivers like Nopek and Lovering would be on. I can see on the verge. Senatori, the same. I can see those top three as on the verge of VCO competitive drivers.
Yeah.
That's just my personal opinion. You could say otherwise, but it gives that bit more of like a battle. So like when my first race come in, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do rubbish. I had JR, Sean Freeman, and Ian Prentice.
Yeah.
All three of them were racing in the race. I think Chris Pissick was racing as well.
He's absolutely rapid as well.
He's absolutely rapid.
Yeah.
And that's one thing about being in the team that I'm in, is that you've got really, really competitive drivers. So you can sit there and go and watch their streams. It's like one of the drivers I love to watch is Leon.
Yes.
Leon Seeley. He is absolutely
We
phenomenal
are just about to start, so we've got Skylar just coming through the final corner. I wonder how Nopek's feeling being out qualified for the first time this season. He's in second place. He'll have the outside line going into turn one. Skylar Lovering looking to kick off his championship campaign. It'll be on your marks, get set, go. Nopek gets a jump ahead of Skylar. So Nopek is going to be in the lead into turn one. Skylar's now got a worry about Garby and Senadore behind. Nopek looks like he's definitely got the run into turn one. He has got it indeed. Skylar files into second. Garby third. Senadore fourth. It looks like Bjorn Klassen's in fifth. And Chris Schneider in seventh. Let's have a look from the back of Senadore. You can see Klassen's being...
big crash at the back in the AMs. We've got 4 cars off.
Let's have a look. I think I can see that's Anderson. No, Unstrande. No.
We've got Chesney, Salazar, and a few others.
Yeah, so we've got Harry, Hottie, Morano, Payne, Stravanella, Gunter is off, and then you've got, like as you said, Chesney off at the back as well. So not quite sure whose fault that is. You can do. I'll tell you what. Let's do. See if you can get a replay of the start, and we can have a look back on that in a moment if you fancy being able to do that from the back's perspective. So
I shall get the third person camera on, the drone camera on.
yeah, so Nopek leads away from Skylar, then you got Garby in third. Senadore's given Garby a good challenge as they come through the final sector, closing in rapidly under braking. Garby's defending. Let's hope he can have a less eventful race this one. Claessens has just been overtaken by Daniel Chris Schneider. So slow, fast 45. Let's go Whiz, who I believe are a racing team. It looks so. Claessens isn't really defending against these pros as they come through. So Demokos Kish, who's also managed to take over Claessens. Claessens might be playing this tactically and trying just to keep the gap whilst Field is battling. Garby and Senadore look as though they have made some contact, but they're both still pointing the right way and going around the track. Skylar's now 7/10 of a second. Senadore is pushing Garby, but is also under pressure from Chris Schneider, who's had a bit of a return to form, as well as Demokos Kish. Claessens has pinned onto the back of this grid, this bunch of drivers at the moment in P7. Goodway has just overtaken Alan Brown into P14, so he's had a decent start as well. Let's have as Azario and Dale have also made a little bit of contact, but Azario is now up into P11. A former winner of the AMS Championship. And who is that going wide? That is Dean Power going very, very deep in the Porsche. So Azario's gained another position up to P10. Alan Brown currently in P3. Blanchett is falling down the grid, as well as Sven Corving. As we see Sven not facing the right way. Be careful as you enter the track. Please don't kill anyone else. So Gunter's now slowly making his way up through the grid. Currently P6. Is this going to harm his championship credentials? Damien Wilk, much talked about before the race, in P20th coming up through the grid. Let's catch up on Garby Senadore as... Christ, too much going on. Kish has passed Chris Schneider, and again Claessens has just fallen back into the grid. How are we looking on that replay?
I have got it ready whenever you are, mate.
Okay, right, okay, 2 seconds. If you can keep an eye on the action, I will try and bring that over to there, because I obviously prepared for this massively. As Chris Schneider is still putting some pressure on Kish for P5. You've got Senadore up there as well. Where is the chat? Okay, ready when you are. 1, 2, 3. Let's have a look at the replay going into turn 1. You see all the cars piling into turn 2, and I'm not quite sure. There was a little bit of a battle, fight between the... Oh no, you can see cars going off. So if we go back, cut back 10 seconds. Let's have a look. Oh, you see one car's
between the two there.
Yeah, you can see someone facing the wrong way.
There was a few cars off, and then there was a McLaren spun on the exit of turn, into the entry of turn 3.
Okay, so we'll keep an eye on those cars as they look to progress. Nopek is going even quicker once again. He's currently leading the way by 7/10 of a second. Lovering starting to put a bit of pressure. Garby under pressure from Senadore behind as he goes into turn 1.
Coming out of the pit lane now.
So Ian Thompson must have had to go in and repair some damage. Azario has Power behind, so 2 Porsches fighting out. Chris Schneider is challenging Kish into P3 as well, into P6 as well. I'm not sure where Claessen's gone down to P9th. I'm not sure if he's had an issue. Fielder's been promoted to first on the AMS. Norscan in 8th as Kish goes quite deep into that corner and has allowed Chris Schneider back through. So Chris Schneider's now up to P5, Kish P6, Fielder top of the tree in the AMS in P7.
You want to jump onto Brizzle and Malcolm Massey? They are side by side down the back straight, and Mr. Brizzle is trying to make the move around the outside into the next corner, as there has been a crash up ahead as well.
Oh no.
Norscan
And
and Clarkson.
yeah, Claessens is facing the wrong way. He's just got back
Replay of
going.
that.
Not quite sure what's going on. Garby and Senadori are still fighting out for P3. Nopek and Lovering were flagging up as contact, but I don't think anyone's near Nopek. Garby and Senadori still going for P3 as they go through the final corner down the start-finish straight. They do have Ian Thompson in front. Senador is falling into the slipstream. He's going to try his best to get the inside line. Oh no, he's going to go around the outside and try and get the inside line for turn 2 possibly. Into the braking zone. Even Stevens, a little bit pushing from Garby, has pushed Senadori onto the grass. As Senadori shows his displeasure by flashing his lights. P9 Dale under pressure as well by Fortis Norscan. And Kish and Chris Snyder still going on. So Hungary versus Hungary.
So just looking back at the replay of the crash at the end of the back straight, Mr. Norscan was trying to make the move down the inside of.
You're right. It's on the stream. So.
Oh, is it?
Oh right. Okay. Yeah, I see it. That's. Yeah, probably not the best place to put your nose, is it?
No.
Interesting.
And then it was a drop down for Clarkson there.
So I'm not sure what's happened between Kish and Chris Schneider, but Chris Schneider's dropped down to P7. Fielder's moved up to P6, so he's getting a comfortable gap between himself and Brizzle in P12. Melka Garby still under pressure from Senadore. Tried that move into turn 1 and turn 2. And then, well, assisted Senadore onto the grass rather than pushing him onto the grass.
Oh, we've had a Chris Salter go off, I'm pretty sure. No, we haven't.
Yes,
we have.
Oh, we'll have a look at that in a bit. So Garby under pressure from Senadore this time around. Senadore's not quite close enough going down that start-finish straight. Lovering still 7/10 of a second. Blanchett, Massey, where are you? Massey and Claessens are all going down into turn 1. Is Claessens going to try and make the move under braking? He hasn't really got anywhere else to filter into, but he will go side by side with Michael Massey through turn 1 and turn 2. Claessens does have the inside line for the sweeping right-hander. He has made that move. That's really good from Claessens. Michael Massey under pressure from Skoulion. Massey, remember, in the pros. Skoulion and Claessens in the AMs. Back to the front of the grid. Not much is happening there. Osario and Sergio Osario and Alan Brown. Sergio was worried he was still going to be at the back in the split grid, but he's doing rather well for himself tonight. As we've just done the first 10 minutes of the race, anything else happening? So Amir's starting to fall a little bit further down the grid, currently P24, trying to fight Mario Morano. Mario Morano has managed to get past. Goodway in 13th and 14th against Gavin Taylor, going through the... Well, it's not the final corner. Every time I think they're going onto the loop, I think it's the final corner. It's not. Senadore and Garby. Garby is continuously on the street. This is going down the start-finish straight. Senadore was moving left and right, looking for a chink in Melka's armour. Wasn't quite available. Melka still running P3. Lovering and Nopek have reignited their fire for each other, and they're within half a second of each other as well. Osario and Brown. Wrong button. Osario and Brown still pretty close together. So we've had...
Just looking at the times of Mr. Fresh Brizzle himself, he's doing what he was saying during the voice chat earlier, that he was doing the 36's qualifying time, but he's doing it during the race, and we've had a spin at turn 1, as I will opt back to find out who that was. That is Michael I wonder if the cat's got involved again.
Oh, let's hope not, as we got Garby versus Senadore, round 3 of the race. Senadore is following that Honda all over the curves and just can't quite get the run up. Lovering and Nopek have gone through turn 1 and 2. Lovering definitely wants to win his home race. Garby's and Senadori still very, very close to each other. No, this is 1 and 2. So Nopek in the has Skylar Lovering in the slipstream. Nopek moves over to the right hand side of the track. Is Skylar going to try and send it down into turn 1? He is not, but he is just he can smell what Nopek had for breakfast, but still not quite close enough.
Just looking back at the replay, there is no cat-like incident that caused Mr. Firth to crash. It was just being late on the brake and slightly tapping around the Polaroid Mercedes, and then having contact with, I think it was Amir. Yeah, he then tapped Amir, obviously because of the bump with the Merc, and went straight on.
Yeah, so Michael Firth is in P36 at the moment. He has 3 cars directly in front of him, trying to go through. Harry Hottie has just overtaken Chesney Salazar. Woodward and Gunter side by side. Gunter goes a little bit wide and has lost a couple of positions from 29th to 30th. Claessens in P17 is losing places left, right and centre at the moment. Blanchett is trying to get past Adam Benjamin as Blanchett does outbrake him to keep P15. Just one thing about these sprint races, there's just cars everywhere. You want to see what's happening at the front of the grid, but then all of a sudden you see in P25 that there's a fight going on. So Senadori's back in the slipstream again, following Garby across the track. Garby goes to the middle of the track this time to defend. Now back to the racing line. Senadori isn't in a position to send it down the inside and then eats a bit too much of the curb. Lovering in the Ferrari is right on the back of Nopek as they're filing through the infield section, but not close enough, unfortunately. And the Mercedes just has that grunt. As soon as it gets out of the corner, it sits down, squats and goes. There's no real arguments with it. It is very quiet. It's not the quickest through the corners, but it does love a straight. Norscan and Dale are fighting out for P9. So the Aston Martin versus the Mercedes. Aston Martin, that wasn't the best move there from Fortis. Just sent it up the inside when there really wasn't a gap to go for, as Bjorn Dale flashes his disapproval. Lovering and Nopek. I thought Lovering was having a look there. He seen as they go through the fast corner, the Ferrari is able to close in quite a bit with the extra downforce, but as soon as they get onto the straight, Nopek disappears. Garby versus Senadori is still within a couple of tenths. Norscan and Dale. So Dale's closed back in again. Is he going to be able to make the move this time? He has just full-blown sent it into the corner and has gone past. So Bjorn Dale moves up to 9th. He's 6.5 seconds behind Power. Norscan now under pressure from David Goodway in P11. Lovering and Nopek still going strong out in front. Sorry.
Just had Ostrand go off in the S's. No contact, but Michael is making his way back up the grid.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be able to get up to where he was in the next 10 minutes, but keep pushing and get past some more pro cars, and each will gain some points in the championship.
Yeah, so Sergio Azario lost his position to Gavin Taylor and then in the Porsche, and then just gained it back from the twisty bits. So that was a good recovery from him. So Senadori continuing to press Garby. Senadori wants that podium in race 1. Currently just still fighting, clasping at the back of the Honda. Lovering is still chasing down Nopek back to 0.3 of a second. Lovering shows his nose, nothing to be given there. 9 minutes left of race 1. Lovering feels like he has a chance, but it doesn't really exist. Benjamin and Mr. Claessens. Claessens been the biggest loser so far, dropping P11 11 places Massey hasn't done too well, dropping 11 places as well, as Azario has fallen down the grid. He's gone off the track. He's now in P19. I'm not sure if that was contact with Gavin Taylor. They were battling for some time. Norscan and Goodway for P10th and 11th and 12th respectively.
Just having a look. Something in here.
So this
just
is
trying to make.
So go on.
No, that didn't work. What I wanted to try and do.
So Garby's made a little bit of a mistake, which has allowed Senadori to close back in. Can see it from Senadori's perspective, just how close they get under braking as they start to go down the runway section of Indianapolis. You can go to the car shop if you want, they'll rip you off. So I don't suggest you do that. Senadori closes so much under braking, and then the Honda kind of squirts out at the corner and gains a tenth or two. So Senadori right on the back of Gardby, taking as much of the curb as he possibly can, trying to keep as much momentum as he can as he goes through the final corner down. Well, it's not the final corner, into the braking zone again, closes in, bounces, he misses the apex this time around, but Garby just leaves a little bit of a gap for Senadori to have a little bit of a look through. So can Senadori get P3 as they go down the start-finish straight into the slipstream? Garby moves to the middle of the track, or to the right-hand side of the track. Not going to be close enough this time around. Is he? Senadori, he's closing, moves over to the racing line. Garby goes across the vent. Senadori's thinking about the inside move, avoids a contact beautifully. Oh no. He still hasn't made it. Nopec, however, has been overtaken, so Skylar Lovering have moved up into P1. I didn't see that move coming. I didn't see that move either. So Skylar Lovering in his home track is now P1, and now
I'm not gonna give commentators curse to a certain somebody, but for being in P3, they are doing really well. And after the first 4 races that we've had this season, it hasn't gone well for them. So looking to bring a comeback for the rest of the season would be good for them.
Yeah, so yeah, I hope the Honda doesn't do Honda things, and I hope that well, Senadori is a top class racer, so I don't expect anything bizarre to happen from him. So
we've had spin, we've had Amir spun.
Yeah, so he's currently P29. Yes, Lovering did indeed take Nopec, Derek. As still, Gardby versus Senadori for P3. It does look as though Senadori's a little bit closer as they go through the down the start-finish straight. Senadori going to try and remain on that line. He's not. He's moved into the centre of the track. Gardby goes full defend mode. Senadori not quite close enough to go for any sort of move, and he files back into P4 for another frustrating lap. Chris Schneider and Fielder are very close down the start-finish straight.
Fielder actually went for the move into turn 1. Just didn't make it stick. But we haven't spoke much about Mr. Brizzle himself. He is second in the race. Really good result for him.
Yeah,
and he's just got to hold that 3.5 second gap to Gavin for the rest of the race, and he'll get that P2.
Absolutely. Classens has dropped down a little bit. I think he and Benjamin have made a little bit of contact. No, Classens has just been overtaken by Benjamin. So Classens has now gone to 16th on the track. So Garby still with Senadori. I don't think that even classes as a track cut. I think that's a country cut, the amount that he took off that corner there to try and keep the momentum in that BMW. He's not going to be close enough here. He's going to have to wait a little bit longer, although shaping left, shaping right. It's very close through the final couple of turns. Is Senadori going to be in a position to make the move this time around? files back into the slipstream. Garby as close to the wall as he is able. Senadore moves round to the outside, under braking. No. Ooh, I thought there was going to be contact with Garby's bum there, but Senadore just avoids it. Fielder giving Chris Schneider some attention in P5. Chris Schneider's having a good race as well. So there are a couple of drivers who are having very good races. Skylar Lovering is now 1.4, 1.5 seconds in front of Nopek. Something which nobody has really seen this season is someone passing Nopek and then pulling away from him as well. But these two in front have absolutely gone. Garby, I don't want to miss if there's an overtake going to happen here between 3 and 4.
Just looking down the grid, it's got really unfortunate for Mr. Sergio Osorio. He was in the top 10, now down into the P21. So this race has not gone too well for him. Hopefully it will change in the second race.
Indeed, we got Senadore going through the last couple of corners again, right on the back of Garby. Senadore just needs to have that momentum through this last corner, just be close enough, be able to get to the inside line for turn 1. But Garby does defend that as soon as he comes through the final corner, moves over to the wall to defend it. Senadore now moves across. There's a little bit of contact. Garby darts away as soon as he does make that contact. But that will mean Garby's gone a little bit deep. Senadore is now trying to go around the outside. They're side by side through sector 1. Is Senadore going to be able to take it? He is. And he's gone a little bit deep. That's allowed Garby to come back and be able to fight. They will be side by side going down the out through a couple more corners. Senadore has his back wheels just in front, and Senadore is now in P3. Well done, he was committed to that, but Garby's not going to let him go away easy. So that leaves Loverink 1, Nopek 2, Senadore 3, our AMs. We've got Fielder, Brown and Taylor. Dale is now under pressure. Words can come out of my mouth, I promise you. Osario and Massey are going at it. We've got Turner, who qualified last, is now in P17. So he's gained 21 positions since the start.
He's definitely flying. Just having a look through the grids again.
So we got Fielder. Sorry, go on.
Mr. Brizzle has pulled a little bit of time, so he should be good if he can hold off for the end of this lap.
So we got we've got Blanchett potentially. Yeah, Blanchett potentially closing in on the podium. We've got Dale, Norscan and Goodway fighting it out for P9. We know Fortis Norscan isn't shy of making a move. We've got Goodway, who's just hoping to remain on the black stuff. We've got the leader on the final lap. We've got a challenge for P3 in the AMS. Is anyone going to make a move down here into turn 1? Goodway puts his car up on the inside. Is he going to be... Norscan moves across to cut that off pretty late, to be fair. Skylar Loverink is halfway through his lap. He has a gap of 2 seconds to Nopek. Nopek lost P1 in qualifying for the first time this season and is also going to lose his first race this season. Admittedly, he's going to finish second, which isn't huge drama time. Blanchett has moved into the final podium position for the AMS. They're going side by side through the sector. Yeah, the Ferrari has got in front, but our leader and qualified in P1 and is going to finish in P1 for the pros, but that doesn't tell its full story. He had a race-long battle with Thomas Nopek and has finally come out on American night in P1, Skylar Loverink, with a fantastic result. We got Thomas Nopek in P2. That's not going to harm his challenge at all. Senadore with a race-long battle with Melker Garby in 3. Then you've got Garby in P4. Chris Schneider will come across to claim P5, with Demokosh Kish in P6. Chris Fielder in 7th to win the AM class. Then we got Power, Dale, Norscan, Goodway, and then Alan Brown, aka Fresh Brizzle, to come across in P2 in the AMs. So that's a very good race. He promised a podium, he achieves a podium, and then it looks as though Ryan Blanchett, who gained P3 in the last couple of laps, Taylor and Classens crossed pretty much side by side. I think Taylor has just got that over Classens for 4th and 5th. Benjamin is 6th. Turner in 7th with a great result from him. Then we got Michael Massey coming home in P20th. Federico Stramvanella in P21st. Woodward and Sauter are having a side-by-side ding-dong. There's a little bit of a door banging.
He's backwards.
Amir's backwards.
Amir is backwards on the final corner.
Woodward and Sauter... Sauter and Sauter wins the drag race, going down to the final corner. Where is Mr. Amir? Yeah, he's just going through the last corner in 35th. Payne 34th. Thompson 37th, and Michael Firth finishes the race in the pits. That was pretty epic between all those podium drivers. They didn't want to let it get away at all. And obviously, Loverink winning the race, Nopek 2nd, Senadore 3rd, Garby in close proximity. And then for the AMs, you had Fielder, I can't remember myself, Fielder, Brizzle and Blanchett claiming P3. Oh, the one thing about these sprint races, they don't give you a rest, do they?
No, they don't. And I think that's what's good about it. I mean, we had it at Suzuka in the GT3 series on Friday. Friday?
Yeah.
I think it was the Suzuka one that you've made, or was it the Suzuka, or was it the Nürburgring you made?
What I raced, or?
Yeah. You commentated.
Oh, that was. I've commentated on all of them so far.
I didn't commentate. No, you missed the first one.
Oh yeah. Yes, I did. I was working away.
I watched Suzuka in the spectator mode, and the first 20 minutes was battle, and then 30 minutes was the 30-minute was battle. I then swapped over to the AMs for the second half of the race, and the AMs were the exact same, but they were battling till the end, and that's what is good about FRL, is that you've got this competitive pedigree that. It could be the start of the race, it could be the end of the race, there's always a battle.
I think what helps is racing against people of similar abilities to you.
Yeah.
And next season promises even more of that. There's going to be a couple of events that are going to be released which are going to be interesting. There's one at which is going to be split into Pro, Silver, Pro-Am and Am categories. And 20 drivers.
Are we gonna have a 100-man grid at Suzuka and Spa?
No, it's gonna be at a track with a big hill on it.
Oh!
And 80 cars. At dawn.
I'm going to compete in that race.
Yes. So that promises to be a bit of fun. So it's going to be, obviously we know we've recently split the driver ratings into 4 categories rather than 2. So you will be battling against your peers essentially as qualifying 2 starts.
I'm just looking at the in-game chat, and during that qualifying session, that number 21, Darian Wilk, was told to reset to pits. So we've lost 2 cars.
We've lost more than 2 cars, I think.
No, we had a 38 and we're now down to 36.
Okay.
So we've lost two drivers out of the full grid. As the AMs are now going out for qualifying.
So, sorry, just resetting the race control because it likes to throw a bit of a wobbly as you go from one session. If you've got more than 2 qualifying, it likes to throw a little bit of a wobbly and puts everyone out of order. So we've now got the drivers back in order.
As Mr. Woody and Brizzle were the first on track because they were the ones that the first people into the server, and they wanted to be the last pit box so they could get down the pit lane fast as possible, the earliest as possible.
Yeah. So we've got one of our drivers have just come back in, so we're now up to 37, I believe.
Let me just double check. We've just had someone just rejoin. I see.
So anyone who's new to FRL and enjoys a bit of a lap record, this is the session that counts to the qualifying lap records.
Oh, okay. I think I found the one who has left. No, he's in the lobby. Michael Firth's in the lobby.
Yeah, Michael Firth is here. Is Amir still here?
Amir.
Yes, he is.
Amir's still here. Who's left? I really do not know who has left. But hopefully they rejoin. Oh, we've had them rejoin.
Oh,
oh, Skylar. I think Skylar left.
Well, yeah, we got 38 now again. So no,
I've just seen the name drop, and I'm pretty sure I've just seen Skylar's name appear.
Oh, so. Nice. Well, that's good news. We want Skylar to try and be able to get a 2 wins because that'll certainly reignite the championship. So don't forget, we are here at Indianapolis tonight. Thursday night we'll bring you 2 races from the AMS at Indianapolis, and Friday night we'll bring you Thursday night we'll bring you the Porsche Cup at Indianapolis, and Friday evening we will bring you 2 races at Indianapolis. So it's Indy week this week, and it's also divisional playoff finals for the NFL, if anyone's into that. So it's the Chiefs versus the Bengals is the one I'm looking forward to. Go Bengals. Are you into any NFL or not?
I just like watching it. It's quite funny. No, not supporting teams.
I did
have a couple of teams that I supported a couple of years ago. I had a team in NBA. NBA. What's the baseball one?
Christ. And NBA's basketball. Oh Christ. MLB, Major League Baseball.
That's it. So I had one in MLB and I had one for NFL. So I had the Phoenix Suns for NBA. I had the Red Sox and I had the Patriots.
Well, I think everyone went for a stage of supporting the Patriots, given the fact that they were Super Bowl champions so often. I've grown a fondness to the Bengals, to be honest, but I do like the Bills, and they played each other last weekend. So we got MLB, Major League Baseball, NBA, National Basketball League, National Football League, and National Hockey League. Are the 4 main things.
Oh, and I love a bit of the ice hockey.
And then I used to play the games when I was a kid because they were really good.
Yeah, I used to play the NHL game.
So Damien Wilk has gone back out again and set a 39-1.
So he's gone out in.
Hello, are you still alive? Have we lost Ryan? Have we lost me?
No, I'm out having a smoke yet again.
Oh right, okay. So I can just do that in my shed, it's great. So Claessens so far has set the quickest lap. That didn't do him too well last time out, but he's going even quicker again, is he? Yes, he does a 35.6 with a bit of slipstream from Alan Brown. Anyone else up on their times at the moment? So we've got Simon Turner, who qualified right at the back, avoided all the trouble, and finished 17th overall last time out. He's going quite well in qualifying this time. Currently in P14. Is he going to have an improvement from that? Going through the final corner, Simon Turner, the Turninator, gets P9. That's a good one from him. FRLACC has improved as well, and I can't find where he's gone. No, he's P17. Anyone else up? So Bjorn Claessens is going quicker again. Marco in P26. He's invalidated this lap, so he's going to have to start a fresh lap to be able to get an improvement.
Just thinking.
Mm.
I can access the game chat. Do you want me to put that Mr. Wilkes does not come out in the pros because he's gone out in the AMs?
We'll leave that to Mr. Goodway, who's the series admin on show.
Didn't know if he wanted to handle it or if you want me to handle it.
We try and leave it to the series admins because then I don't have to worry about it essentially.
Well, he has returned to pits now, so.
He has, right, okay, so we've got Alan Brown who goes P11, and that's he'll be hoping for a lot better. Bjorn Claessens is just starting another lap behind him. Ian Thompson is going a lot slower, so he's 2.3 seconds off his time, but still will have another opportunity to start a lap. I think Adam Benjamin still has a chance to do another lap as well. Barry Gibbons has got 19 seconds left before the end of the AM qualifying.
Okay, I think Mr. Goodway has to get involved. Darian Wilkes has just come back out on track with 30 seconds to go, and it's just taken off Ryan Blanchett in turn 2.
Nice. So Chris Smiley says, how many notifications do I have to put? So that is the end of AM qualifying. So the AM's still got another opportunity. Chris Fielder's popped himself up into P1. Bjorn Claessens in P2 will want to get that back, but Fielder's going quicker again. We've got Gunter, our championship leader, is currently equal in his best time. Alan Brown needs to have an improvement if he wants to replicate his podium from race 1. Currently in P11. Safety has gone off the track and has returned to pits, so he won't be setting any more laps. Alan Brown 4/10 up on his best lap. This isn't going to be a world setting alike time, so that only pops him up to P7. Bjorn Claessens comes across, stays P2. So at the moment Chris Fielder will have P1 all to himself. Adam Benjamin coming through the last 3/4 of the way through the lap. Is he going to have another opportunity to set his time? Anderson Albuquerque's in the pits. Gavin Taylor is the next man behind Adam Benjamin. Adam Benjamin currently P12. He goes P8. That was a lovely little lap. Gavin Taylor 3/10 off of his best time. I might be helping the driver behind getting a slipstream. And I have no idea what's happening with Raccoons, but he's continuing to go around the track.
Derek must be spectating as well, because he has put a thingy in the game chat to say Wilkes, you're not meant to be out on track, but he has decided to go back out on track. So there is something that needs addressing to Mr. Wilkes. I was actually going to go on Google Translate and put that he should he should be out in the AMS qualifying. So I don't know if he speaks English, can read English or not, because it does say he is from Poland. So I don't know if that's a issue there, but Dave Goodway is out on track, so Mr. Goodway cannot respond during this session.
So I've hopefully managed to sort it. I can't show. What I'm doing, but so Derek, if you're listening, please check your DMs.
Yep.
So in terms of the pros, we got the pros just starting.
He has seen your message.
Cool. The pros are now going round to try and set their first lap. So we've got Chesney Salazar is 1:20 into his lap time at the moment. Thomas Nopek will be the first pro driver to cross the line. We're going to notice a big improvement from him. He goes a 34.792. So I think that is straight away a new lap record. Chesney Salazar pops himself into P14. Daniel Chris Schneider goes into 24th, so that's just as a little bit of a banker lap. Oh no, P15, I apologise. So lots of drivers going through their first laps at the moment. We've got Bjorn Dale who goes 17th. Skylar Loverink, his first lap is a 39.0. I've no doubt that this lap will be a lot quicker. Michael Firth just coming through the final corner. Didn't have the best of times in race 1. Hopefully race 2 will be a bit better, as he pops himself straight away into 5th. So that's going to be comfortably inside the top 10.
Just for your confirmation, he has not set the lap record.
No?
Mr. Alex Zakdale has the track record of a 1:34.6.
Oh right, okay, so that it's not going to be too far away then.
Nope, he possibly could get it, or Mr. Skylar Loverink could take it. As Mr. Wilkes, I think, has left the session and rejoined because he's now showing as a yellow lip.
So he is back on track.
He's back on track.
Well, no, he's back in the pits anyway. Senadore, so Gardby's gone P2 with a 35.0, which is 0.3 of a second quicker, faster than the fastest AM time. Senadore at the moment is on course to try and get into the sub 34s. Loverick goes with a 35.4. Right behind a BMW. I'm not quite sure who that is, but for Skylar to set faster laps, he's going to need that car out of the way. Senadore currently is absolutely flying going through the final corner. This is going to be for the final sector. This potentially is going to be a very, very quick time. Senadore has the bit between his teeth after his long battle with Mel Kagabi in the last race. Is Senadore going to go provisional pole? All the turning's done. It's just down to that right pedal. He goes fastest with a 37.707. That is a brilliant lap. Mel Kagabi still going through this down the start finish straight. Currently P3, stays P3. That's not a big improvement, but he's into the 35s. Senador is going quicker again by the looks of things, very early on in his lap. How's Skylar getting on? Skylar is on an invalid lap, so no improvement from him. Bjorn...
Nopek is coming up to the line as well. I don't know if he is on an improvement.
No, he's
not. He extended it for the final lap as they go on to the final. Well, actually, he's going to have another lap if he takes this one easy.
Well, yeah, he has an opportunity to be able to do it, but Senadore is flashing into the purple every few seconds on my screen. So this is going to be a quick one, I think, or at least there or thereabouts. Nopek is less than 1/10 of a second behind Senadore, so you know, I have to fancy Senadore. Senadore is going to have to improve to get P1, I think.
Oh, definitely. Skylar Loverink, I mean, if I go back to the timetable and have a look at the qualifying time for race 1, if Loverink can set the same lap time as he set in qualifying 1, he will have the track record by 0.2 of a second. So if he can get into that 1:34.4 that he done in the qualifying 1, he will take the track record.
So
Possibly
Senadore goes across the line. That is just under a tenth of a second slower than his last lap. Nopek isn't really improvement. Skylar Loverink, I don't think he's going to have another lap, you know.
No, Loverink won't have enough time. Whereas Nopek crossed the line with, I think, about 5 seconds extra. We've had number 14 return to the pits.
That's Chris Schneider. So
Chris
Nopek
Schneider.
is going through the final corner now. Derek's going, look at Chica Sandbag Thompson in P16, so P3 overall. So that's a fantastic qualifying after a nightmare round last time around. So Senadore is 1/10 of a second down. Nopek will have this last throw of the dice. Skylar is currently P5, and that's his qualifying done. Fortis Norscan is 2/10 of a second up at the moment, and an opportunity to claim P6 away from Fortis from Bjorn Claessens. Amir is having a much better time in the Ferrari, and he hopefully is going to see an improvement. And P10, and hopefully away from a lot of the trouble. Nopek has given up his lap.
He lost it coming out of the corner.
So
as soon as he hit that, he knew that that lap was over.
Yeah, so he's in the same position as where he qualified last time out, which isn't going to be a bad thing. So we did see him take the lead into turn 1, and the Merc does have that grunt over the BMW down the start-finish straight. Norscan has called it a day in terms of his lap. Raccoons wasn't able to set anymore, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of qualifying. We go into the race. So if we start from the back and go forward this time around.
Do you want me to do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Saves your voice for the start. Let me just change my camera so I can see. I'm pressing the wrong buttons. F6, that's what I want. F6. That's it. Okay, so we're gonna have to do backs forward. Why is there so many cars? Okay.
Well, nobody can see your screen.
That's fine.
Okay.
I mean, actually, you can do if you want to hop over to my stream.
There you go.
And we'll. So, do you want me to do the fly through and you talk to it, or?
Oh Christ! I thought I was gonna get. You were saving my voice, but okay. So from the back, going forwards, you got Marco in. Oh, right there. Nobody can see what you're looking at. There we go. So from the back going forwards, you've got Marco in 38, Scullion 37th, Raki in 36th. Then you've got Mario Morano, Harry Hottie, Steiner Ulstrand, Barry Gibbons in 32nd. Woodward and Turner at 31st and 30th. Then you got Wilk in 29th, Sauter 28th, Payne in 27th, Gunter in 26th, Sven Corving in 25th, Chesney Salazar 24th, Adam Benjamin and Alan Brown 22nd and 23rd respectively. Then you got Blanchett and Gavin Taylor, Anderson Albuquerque in 19th, Thompson in 18th, Firth in 17th, Kish in 16th, Bjorn Dale in 15th. Then David Goodway, Michael Massey, Daniel Schneider in 12th, Sergio Azaru a fantastic qualifying in 11th, Amir in 10th. Then you got Dean Power, Stram Vanella, Norscan, Claessens, Skylar Loverink in P5, Chris Fielder 4, Garby 3rd, Nopek in P2, and at the front of the grid is Vincenzo Senadore. Oh, there we go. How is Chica going to be feeling in the middle? Effectively, even though he's front of the grid, he is still smack bang in the middle of multiple drivers to try and gain positions on lap 1, or not to lose positions on lap 1 as well. That's going to be important. Michael Firth will want a clean race. That is all he's going to want from today.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've got Chica is the third place in the AMS, and he has got an army of AMS sitting behind him. Other than, I think we got one pro driver that is behind him.
Well, you've
It's
got
going
two potentially. You've got Salazar and Wilk.
No, Salazar's a pro.
Yeah.
Salazar's now pro.
Yeah. His driver rating was sufficient for promotion, shall we say?
Yes, Chesley Salazar is showing as a pro on the Discord and on track, so he is down as a pro driver. So it is going to look like a very interesting race for Chica to hold off the army that he's behind him. And I just hope that Mr. Firth doesn't have his cat come in and knock over his cup of tea this time.
No, so we got it's 5 o'clock in the evening here in Indianapolis. We got it's sunny, 17 degrees on the air temperature, 21 on the track. It promises to be very clear for the rest of the race, so it's going to be fun. We're going to stay on board with Mr. Thompson as he goes through his opening lap, his warm-up lap, so to speak. One thing I wish we could have is standing starts.
See, that's what that was one thing that I was always hoping for, with when they brought out the TC, the M2 cars, which we was having this conversation during the 9 hour of what cars are in the TC series, and I mean I watched quite a few of the GT World Challenge events, so I watched the America and the other series and I really do enjoy this watching the TC, the TC8 and the TCX series. And one thing that I've seen with it is what actually occur, like what kind of cars they are racing, and I mean they do rolling start as well, but the cars they have, I just think that it's probably better to have it as a standing start. I mean, you've got cars that are like Mini Coopers, you've got Honda Civics, you've got TCR cars, so you've got like the VW Golf and stuff like that, and those cars are meant to be like those standing start sort of cars, which the M2 is rear-wheel drive, but it's just not. You don't get a kick out off the grid.
No.
If you've driven it in a race, you just don't get that pull away, which I think it'd be better to do, like, have a standing start, which you could run it yourself and have a standing start, but
chaos.
It would be chaos.
We've got a little motto in the admin team. It's called KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
Which that is the best idea, is to keep it simple and don't go over the top with rules and everything.
Yeah. So we try and make it as simple as possible. I appreciate probably anyone who enters the Discord for the first time is just going to sit there and go, this is far from simple. Chris Fielder, P4. P1 in the AMS, then you got Classens directly behind him. Classens didn't have the best of starts last time out. Fielder did. Fielder will also be challenged by Loverink into turn 1. Ferrari's not the best at starting, historically, but we've seen how well it does climb through the field. So as they go through the final corner now, onto the start-finish straight, onto the oval at Indianapolis, home of the Indy 500, home of the Timpsons Super Sprints for tonight. It'll be on your marks. Get set. Go! For the next round of the Super Sprints, you got Garby moving from left to right on the track. Skylar Loverink is going to fall into the line. Chris Fielder has dropped a position to Classens by the looks of things. It does look as though... Oh, no, what's happened?
Skylar,
no peg, just kind of pummeled through a couple of drivers. And
Skylar Loverink is back. Anna Briz is stuck. There is a 7-car stoppage in turn 1.
From my view, it looked as though, yeah, you can just see actually carnage in terms of the contacts. But Nopek has got away. He's got Senatore right behind him. So
Ignition off as well.
yeah, once again, Nopec has got the jump on the start, and then there's been absolute carnage at the
Oh,
back.
carnage at the back.
I just so Benjamin has just gone to the pits. You got Unstrad in 37th. He's gone to the pits as well.
He's just lost the back end and absolutely been pummeled
It looks as
by Benjamin, I think it was.
yeah, and there's another incident. Racky Mike caught the outside of a Mercedes. The Mercedes has just flipped out to the side. I'm not sure.
Ian Thompson in the pits.
That did not look like the cleanest start in FRL history, shall we put it that way. It did look as...
Oh, Alan Brizzle's off as well.
I'm not sure what's happening to my sound as well, because or is it you playing videos?
You're probably listening to my stream.
Yeah, so... from the first view, it looked as though... Zario's just been overtaken into turn 1 by Stramvanella.
Tomasz Kiss has crashed it into the final corner. We've had Alan Brizzle spin it, and he has got severe damage. He is in the pit lane. So we've got 4 cars in the pit lane. We've got Tomasz Kiss with damage. We've got Barry Gibbons with damage. We've got Gavin Taylor with damage. Chesney Salazar with damage. We've got loads and loads of cars with damage, and that was not the start that some of the boys needed.
Absolutely not, and I'd be grateful if you can have a look at the start, because we got Loverink just coming through from P12 to challenge Fielder behind him, so he's going to be disappointed. We got Sergio Azario under pressure from a mountain of cars. Stramvanella, Chris Schneider, Dale Goodway, Firth. I'm pleased to see Firth has got through lap 1 incidents without anything major happening. All over the back of Azario, not all over the back, all through the car of Azario with Stramvanella. Chris Schneider now trying to go around the outside of Azario.
I have the replay of the turn 1.
We'll have a look now. If you can do it at a normal camera angle, that'll be great. But we got a mountain of cars falling behind the Porsche of Sergio Azario. There's at least 15 cars. Is Chris Schneider going to go for a full-blown send into turn 1? Azario is aware of his presence and tries to defend accordingly. Does allow enough room. Stramvanella goes off the track. Loverink has moved up to P7 and then down the grid by the looks of things. Yes, he's down into 16th, 17th. So I think there may be contact. David Goodway has some flappy bonnet syndrome. As ACC TV can't keep up, Sergio Azario is now falling further and further down as Chris Sauter is trying to go around the outside. That move's not going to be made. We've got Nopec being challenged by Senadori all the way up front, oblivious of everything that's going on behind them. Michael Firth is up to P6, so that's a great start from him. He's following Bjorn Dale as we got more cars. David Goodway has just gone off sideways out through the exit of the corner. He's gone into the pits. Neil Woodward in 16th. Bjorn Klassen's in 4th. It's because he's gone into the pits, so he skipped through half the track. Let's have a look. Are you ready for the race start? If you can have a look at Klassen's for me, that'll be great.
Klassen's, I can get Klassen's up.
Right, so we're going to flick over to a replay. So go, if you press play. So from my understanding, so yeah, he moves across there. Then, interesting. If you go back to the start again, please, and have a look at number 43. Okay. Obviously down to the stewards to the side, but it certainly looked like
we have a few more incidences further behind.
Yeah, with
Tomasz Kiss. Bumping and all the way down, and then he drops from about here to down the bottom and then spins out. Always one car's off on the right hand side. And
So
it's
Azario's
Christopher.
also gone to the pits as well. I'm potentially damage on him.
Oh,
Nopek is
Chica. No, not Chica. That's not Chica. Oh, it is Chica. Chica taps Demicus Kiss in the rear. And then Mr. Chica has contact with Gavin Thompson. Gavin Thompson? Gavin Taylor.
Taylor. So Simon Turner's up to P13, so he's had another great start. He's gained up 17 positions. Harry Hottie in P14 has gained up 20 positions. So there are winners and losers from the carnage. Malka Garby is another one of those drivers who probably consider himself a loser from all that. He's dropped down 7 positions to P10. Classens is up into P3. So it'd be interesting to see how the stewards deal with that incident post-race. In terms of the AMs themselves, so you've got Classens in P1, Fielder in P2, Blanchett in P3, as now Osario, after pitting, is now falling right the way down the grid. Where is our good friend? There is Michael Firth. Michael Firth and his cat are in P6, so he's having such a better race this time around. Managed to avoid a lot of the carnage, which is great. So Norscan is under pressure from Massey. Massey's managed to get through. He's got the inside line of the corner and successfully managed to make that move into P19. Salazar is also going to try and make the move around the inside of Norscan, and he's also done that. So Norscan's lost 2 positions in the last couple of corners. Further back we go. So Skylar Lovering in P28 has quite a bit of damage to the front of his car, and his connection also is looking a bit interesting drifting around some of the corners. Gibbons has got a yellow flag. He's going to rejoin in a nice safe position, so that's good.
Skylar Lovering has got some flappy bonnet syndrome.
Yeah, he definitely
Lots
does.
of cars have received damage from that first probably 3 laps. Unfortunately, some drivers have left the server. We're down to 34, so we've had
and you've
Mr. Chica leave.
We like to say damage. The damage has taken them away from, taken them out of the race.
Yeah, unfortunately it has, and
so
good ways in the pit lane. Amir's in the pit lane, Sergio's in the pit lane. So those 3 have lost out massively. Dorcas Kish has lost out as well.
Yeah, so Garby's trying to make his way back through the field. So he's chasing down P8, Ryan Blanchett. After his 4th position last time around, Garby would want to make it through Blanchett and Fielder as quickly as possible. Nopek's disappearing out in front, so Garby has indeed got past Blanchett into P8. Woodward's having a better race. It was largely quite anonymous last time out, but he's up into P14, challenged by Sculion, and Sauter's there as well. Sauter's going to try and make the move on Sculion into the left-hander. Sculion will have the inside line for the tight left-hander, defends that quite well. Sculion going to run a little bit deeper. No, he's not. So Sculion defends 15th position as Woodward flashes up some dust directly in front of us. Anderson Albuquerque right on the back of Gunter. So Gunter was the championship leader coming into tonight's race in the AMS. His lead has probably definitely taken a bit of a hit after race 1, so we'll be doing a little bit of damage limitation in terms of the race. So Sauter in 16th with is that Damien behind? Oh no, it's Brizzle. Brizzle trying to make it through back through
Brizzle
the field.
is behind Chris, and then behind that is Mr. Wilkes.
Yeah, so fair play to Brizzle. A lap or 2 down, and it's just trying to make it through. We've got Payne and
himself actually right now.
yeah, you're gonna have to be careful doing that because you don't want to cause unnecessary contact with drivers. So on board now with Chris Sauter. chasing Raphael Sculion in the Porsche. Nopek's in the lead by 1.5 seconds ahead of Senadore. Chris Sauter runs quite deep. Did 9 hours of Kyalami with Chris Sauter on Saturday. He didn't have the best of times. And Robbie, Chris, Derek, and I had a bit of an interesting race. Hello, Mr. Upside Down Man. How are you, Sergio? You were doing quite well. You were 5th. What happened? Or can we guess? Death. Gunter from Belgium in the Wiz team, under pressure from Anderson Albuquerque in P11. Move made there. So Dean Powers up to 4th place. I didn't see him at all. Didn't see him at all in race 1. Did you?
No. I know we had a couple of incidents during first race, so that'll be why we didn't see much of him, but it's good to see that he's back in here. And he's currently sitting P3 overall in the pros, so that's good for him.
Yeah.
4th overall in the race, but Larson's is absolutely flying. He is leading the AMS by a safe margin over Mr. Fielder.
Yeah, absolutely. So Fielder's down in 7th place overall at the moment. Then you got Blanchett going for a 2nd podium in a row. But Claessens is 9.5 seconds behind Nopek and Senadore, but 3.5 seconds ahead of Power behind. So that's been a good race so far from Bjorn.
We are at the halfway mark.
So the actual gap between Claessens and Fielder is 14.5 seconds.
So Sergio says, I don't know what to say. Yeah, well, we'll wait to see what incidents come through in the stewards room. So we've got Alan Brown's back up and running, but it's a lap down. We've got Sergio, Goodway and Amir in the pits. The rest have retired due to damage. Senadore's trying to close the gap on Nopek. Last time around, Senadore was 2/10 faster than Nopek. Not sure how the Mercedes is coping on tyre wear. Potentially could be an issue, because both times he's taken the lead and both times he's fallen into the clutches of P2. Skylar Loverink, let's have a look, see if we can find Skylar. Can you find Skylar?
Skylar is down the bottom. He is
27th.
Yes.
Yeah, 27th with quite a bit of damage. Just touring around the track, 8.5 seconds behind Mario Morano. We've got Woodward falling down the grid by the looks of things. I'm not sure if he's gone off or has had a bit of an issue, but he's now P18, which has promoted Wilkes, Sculion, Massey and Sauter. Sauter's up to P14. Senadore is now back within 0.7 of a second and right at the back of the Mercedes. Woody and Sculion touch at turn 1, and I think Woody might have went straight on, so that's not going to be the quickest way around the track. So Senadore has experience of passing a driver after multiple laps following behind. Will want to try and get the move done a lot quicker this time around. Is into the slipstream of the Mercedes, into the braking zone. Senadore remains P2, but it's definitely one to keep an eye on if any move's going to be made. Claessens is 11 seconds behind these two, but remember, he's in the AMS and he's currently in P3 overall. What's got your attention, Ryan?
My arm, my keyboard rest pad. I just got distracted, just sitting there chewing on the rubber stops.
Oh, right, okay. So Sauter's has made the move. So Sculion, so Massey has moved up into P14, overtaking Sauter. Sauter's got to be careful; he's not going to be brought back into the Sculion battle. Back up at the front, we've got Nopek and Senadore. Senadore trying to get that momentum, trying to get that drive through the corners, which brings them as close as possible to their the Mercedes of Nopec into the braking zone. Senatore knows how to tease that BMW in and try and keep as much pace going through the corner as possible. But the Mercedes once again squats and goes as they enter in the final corner. Senatore trying to get into the slipstream, not going to be close enough this time around.
Skylar Lovering is in the pit lane now, so he is dropping down to P30. Possibly could drop to P31, depending on where Mr. Brizzle is. They are both 2 laps down now.
Oh, it is! Senatore! So close! No, not this time. These two were experienced fighting with each other last season, first and second in the championship. Senatore wants to take that dip to pass Nopec. He's just finding it a little bit difficult at the moment. Gunter in P10 under pressure from Anderson Albuquerque as well. Something to keep an eye on. Woodward has gained a position over Chesney Salazar. Woodward and Salazar. Oh no. Woodward has been tipped round by Norscan by looks of things. And Norscan's gone to the pits. Woodward has quite a bit of damage on the start-finish line. And that's also his race run as well. I think the stewards' room's going to be busy afterwards, Christopher Jones. Which is going to be fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've just watched that replay back.
Just caught the end of it.
Woody ran wide, and then Norscan followed him and just pushed him up against, pushed his rear end, spun him out, and then they both ended up spinning. Luckily, the McLaren of
it was a Honda of Sauter potentially.
No, it was not. It was.
Oh, Payne.
It was Payne, Brizzle, Chris Schneider, and.
So Michael Firth.
Savella.
Yeah, Stramvanella.
All avoided that.
Yeah.
Savella all avoided that.
So Michael Firth is under pressure from. So look at the names of 30, 31, and 32. So Lovering, Woodward, and Amir. Okay. So Michael Firth in.
As Lovering actually has a drive-through as well for speeding in the pit lane.
He's not having a good night, is he?
No, definitely not.
Well, he did. He had a great race. Race 1. Race 2 has all gone.
It has gone
bad to worse.
As you say to Mr. Sergio, it has gone up, Mr. Upside Down.
Yeah, it's all got to beat Pete Tom. So Payne in P20th, under pressure from Stramvanella. Stramvanella had his nose there. Payne manages to defend. We've got Chris Schneider there as well in very, very close proximity, trying to make the move on Stramvanella. Got Brizzle trying to lap himself behind as well. Chris Schneider following Stramvanella through the corners. Payne is there as well. Stramvanella and Chris Schneider may be considered a little bit quicker than Payne, being pro drivers, but they still have to earn the right to pass. Last time out, Senatore and Nopec equalled each other's laps, so no real gain in that time around in the battle at the top. Sauter and Scullion in 15th and 16th are getting quite close together as they go through the final sector. Sauter tries to take too much of the curve. That's not going to help you going through the corners. However, it does gain a bit more. The Porsche doesn't have that top end speed. Payne looks like he's had contact and has fallen down to P22nd, back up into P21. So it potentially was. What happened to Sauter? He's just disappeared. Oh no, he's still there.
Yeah. As Brizzle's taking it 3 wide to try and unlap these two of Chris Schneider and Payne. And he's...
Wilk's gone a little bit deep, which is going to allow the Aston Martin through.
Chris Schneider's returned to the pits.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he had contact with Payne. But that's considering Kish and Chris Schneider were right at the front of the grid in race 1. It's all fallen apart again in race 2. The chaos on lap 1 just hasn't allowed those drivers to continue their progression. So it would be really... honestly, I want as many tickets as possible so the Stewart team can kind of stamp any of those incidents out. So Blanchett in P8, P9 is having a little bit of a quiet race. P10, Gunther is definitely not having a quiet race. He's been put under pressure from Anderson Albuquerque for quite a good period of time. Senadore and Nopek continuing to go on to the last 4 minutes of the race.
Michael Firth is up to 6th place.
Yeah.
5th overall.
The 5th in the pro section, so that's great. To be honest, I'm genuinely really pleased. Mr. Floppy Fox and his cat have had a good, clean race.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've still got 3 minutes to go. Anything can happen.
Anything in super sprints can happen and will, as we've seen. Oh, Gunther, no! In fairness, he is waiting. Well, he was waiting for. Oh no, it was Anderson Albuquerque. Sorry, and then Anderson Albuquerque then causes problems for Turner.
Wow.
As now Anderson allows Gunther to go back through, but I'm not sure why. They just kind of bumped Simon as Anderson was trying to let Gunther back through. He just bumped off Simon Turner instead. Michael Massey has gone past Harry Hottie into the slow left-hander. So that move's been completed. There's a gaggle of cars. Yeah, poor Simon, absolutely. Just a complete and utter passenger. Race 1, he was fantastic. Schoulion has fallen behind Chris Sauter. So hello, JR. Sorry. So Schoulion has lost a couple of positions, but is on the radar again. But Simon Turner, race 1, gained 22 positions. This race he's gained 16 positions, but that could have been a hell of a lot more. Even a Mr. Jan Barth. Christ, they're all coming in the room now. Oh, Nopek, Senadore sent it! Senadore! Oh, he sent it just too much!
He was very close at the end of that first sector. He was only 0.2 of a second away. I mean, I think if I was Senatore there, I would have probably stuck behind him and tried to make the move in turn 1 onto the final lap, as they're both about to start. And if you can get ahead in that final lap, you can hold it.
Yeah, no idea, Fabsy. We've just given up. Michael Firth under pressure from Chris Fielder as well.
Right, man. The
Leader is on the final lap. Fielder and Firth fighting away for P6. Remember, Fielder's already got P2 in the AMS. But JR, it's not just been it's not just been 2 25-minute races. It's been 6 25-minute races now. You've been stuck with me, haven't you, Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah. So on to the final lap. Firth and Fielder. Fielder, all he sees is a car in front of him. He doesn't see that in fact it's a pro driver or an AM driver. He just wants positions. He's not going to get anywhere near Classens in P. I'm grateful for the company, and Ryan's doing a fantastic job as well. I'm sure you'll all agree. I'm just dreadful. So Senadore potentially has resigned himself to P2 as they go through the final 30 seconds of the lap. Melka Garbi got caught up in the incidents at the start, has recovered to P8, so that's been decent from him. We've got
We've had a crash.
Harry Hottie.
We've had Simon Turner and Harry Hottie.
What the hell is Anderson Albuquerque doing? Just joining right in the middle of the cars.
What has gone on?
So it looks as though Hottie and Albuquerque had to come in together. And then Elderson Albuquerque's lost his
The leader has finished the race.
bearings and just comes into a bunch of traffic. But let's go to the most important thing. Thomas Nopek wins once again.
Oh, you're wrong.
Senadore gets P2. Classens gets P1 in the AMs. We'll have a look at that in a moment. Sorry. And then we got Power claims a podium in the pros. That's a great result from him. Dale gets 4th. Then Firth gets 5th. Chris Fielder claims P2 in the AMs. Garby in P7th. Blanchett once again gets another podium. So that's been a great 2 races from Ryan. And a definite return to form. Michael Massey coming through the final sector will get 10th. Gunter gets 4th in the AMs, providing he can finish his race off. Then we got Sauter, Sculion and Turner. Turner could have probably expected a little bit more, but had a bit of an incident. Harry Hottie was another driver who got caught up in that. Smiley says you're going to make us do this in the friggin' rain. Yes, we are. Stranvanella gets 16th. Raki gets 17th, so well done to him. Payne gets 18th. Salazar 19th. Damien Wilt gets P20th. Then Anderson Albuquerque smashes into the back of Damien Wilk. It'll be interesting to see some steering wheel inputs for that as well, which we won't look at on stream. Gavin Taylor 22nd, then Mario Morano 23rd, Gibbons 24th, Kish finishes in 25th, Marco 26th, Alan Brown in 27th. I think were the last drivers to finish that race. Oh, wow. Race 2 was certainly eventful. Should we have a look at what you were... We don't want to look at this incident. We want to look at the Wilk and Hottie one a little bit later on, if that's okay.
Which one was? That's the one that I was talking about.
Right, okay, cool.
That's the one that I said. And then if you wanted to show it or not.
Right, so let's have a little bit of a look at this potential incident. So if we press play. So this is between Anderson and Damien Wilk. So Anderson tries to shape for the inside line, cuts back inside to the racing line. Then, Harry Hottie smacks into the back of him. Turner gets caught up by Anderson Albuquerque, and then Anderson Albuquerque does a 360 straight into the middle of the track. Obviously trying to gain, not to lose as many positions as possible. So yeah, that's certainly an interesting one. But first and foremost, congratulations Thomas Nopek, Vincenzo Senadore and Power for claiming P1, 2 and 3 in the pros. Classens gets P1, Fielder P2, and then Ryan Blanchett gets P3. You can join us once again for more crazy shenanigans in the wet race at Indianapolis on Thursday night. Thank you very much once again, Ryan, for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, I did. I mean, it was very good at the during the race. Race 1, race 2 just didn't go plan for a lot of drivers, and unfortunately we had quite a few retire. But hopefully going into next week, I think it's Mazzano.
Yes, it is Mazzano.
Mazzano, it's going to be another interesting race. I mean, if we have the same sort of numbers or more, it will be even more intense, and we'll have some fun there.
Yeah, absolutely. And JR says, "Bring on the rookies." I'm looking forward to the rookies. That's always a fun night. So make sure you join us again. So once again, thank you, Ryan. Congratulations to our podium. Join us on Thursday night for some more Indianapolis fun. Good night, all.